Evening, folks. Welcome back. I'm deeply saddened to inform you of the death of Honorable Red Eddie's wonderful widow, Mary Jessie MacDonald. I just learned this a few minutes ago. I went to shave and get ready, and I'm wearing the same white shirt and necktie that I did when I went to Red Eddie's wake many years ago, back about 10, 11 years ago now. Honorable Mary Jessie MacDonald, from Queensville, Cape Breton, Auld. This wonderful lady, she represents, I can sincerely say, the very best of Cape Breton. I often say, if there's better people anywhere else than Cape Bretoners, I'd sure like to meet them. And here we are at 25 minutes past 7 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday night, the 6th day of April. So this Easter, Mary Jess is going to be back in heaven with her wonderful husband, the late Honorable Red Eddie. What wonderful people. I remember Mary Jess, she was one of my first customers in Auld's Cove. And I got to know her, and I'd see this lady in. I'm reading the Scotia Sun back in the early 80s, and there was a picture of all these people lined up in a course. And they're graduating the course, and they had the shorter ones in front and the taller ones in the back and so on, and some sitting down in chairs in the very third front row, and Mary Jess aside, and I said, they all had a thing about, you didn't have a cap on like the rest of them. They all had, their square pomp and circumstance cap, and from graduating the course. And she modestly said, John, actually, I was teaching the course. A very modest lady. Her maiden name was MacLeod. I'm doing this without benefit of obituary or anything yet. I just learned this literally about 25 minutes ago. And maiden name was MacLeod, and my wonderful hero, President Donald J. Trump, his mother was the MacLeod. So, and possibly Cape Breton root. So, go back to Son Adam and Eve. Mary Jessie MacDonald, Mary Jessie, she was famously called, and my hero, President Trump, would be relatives, and there's tremendous goodness in both these wonderful folks. I can remember being at their house on a number of occasions. They were always doing something. He was the warden. She was a school teacher for 50 years. And she loved horses. She just loved horses. Ready to come in with extra spring, and it's always busy with an extra spring in his step, and it would have lots of kids, and Honorable Dwayne and his sisters and nieces and nephews and grandkids and so on. I think there might be actually some great grandkids now. And in Mary Jess's horse, it had a colt. It was, instead of a new grandkid in the family, it was a new horse, a new colt in the family. Okay, they had their wonderful daughter Lana. She worked for years at the Scotia Sun, and then she was involved in theatre, the Mulgrave Road Theatre Co-op, and she also was in the Halifax Herald. She was a lovely lady, and they take and Mary Jess. I'm going back to Red Eddie's wake. I said I presented a mass card enrollment. And she come over to me and she gave me a big hug as I was going through the receiving line. It says, Red Eddie's old friend. And I said, Mary Jess, you might be with the school board, but I love you. I'm going to repeat that this evening. You might be with the school board, but I love you. And she was just a remarkable lady. She loved helping people. I'm going to give an example. My wonderful Brent. Okay, Gerard and Arlene's middle son, Brent. And he was Baker Brent, and he made meat pies. It was the winter time. And he didn't know where Duke and Jean lived. And so anyway, I phoned up Mary, and they were cooling off in the bakery. And so I wanted to give one to Duke's widow, Paul's mother, Jean. Paul Pierce's mother, Jean. And so I phoned up early in the morning. I said, John Pettipas, I have a pie for Jean Pierce. Could you drop it off? One of us hello, how you doing, John? I said, good. One of us will be over today for it. And that afternoon, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, who comes in his farm clothes and his winter coveralls, but Honorable Red Eddie get the pie and bring it over. And many times they meet in the yard. He had his farm truck and she had her car and Jeep rig later on. And she'd be going one way to meeting, he going the other way. Just about 2 years ago, she ran for a seat in Inverness County because her husband was warden for a year, councillor and warden for years after Charlie MacArthur went as Liberal MLA for Halifax, for the great people of Inverness riding, Inverness Cape Breton. He was warden, and then Honourable Dwayne took over as councillor after Red Eddie passing, and he got elected on his own again. I said, Honourable Dwayne, you're like Rita McNeil, you're flying your own. You're flying. And she ran for council in 2022 and 2020. And she didn't win, but she had a strong showing and just their willingness to serve. And I have a U.S. flag in the background for a reason. One of their daughters, I think it's Chrissy, taught for years in the great state, the beautiful state of North Carolina. First in flight, North Carolina. So Honorable Red Eddie and Mary Jess had gone down to see their daughter, and it was a rainy fall evening. They're coming home, and they're in a beltway in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., and they had to put up a hotel. And it was probably in October or so, and they were given a room fairly high up. And in the morning, what did they see go by? This would have been under President, probably 1991. This is a story about 30 years ago now. God, time flies quick. And they could see down from the balcony or window facing it over the boulevard, the street where they're at, the presidential motorcade go by, and that would have been George Herbert Walker Bush, who'd been vice president under saintly President Reagan, President Ronald Reagan. He was his vice president. Of course, in 1988, he won as president, had one-term presidency. So they take and they seen the presidential motorcade go by, and they're just fantastic people, always helping people, always willing to get involved, and I'm left for words. There's so much good things you can think of Red Eddie. And Mary says, I know what I was going to say. Here, see this rolled oats? Rolled oats. The Scotch make something called marrock. Marrock. It's something like a sausage, but it's bigger, about the size of your cutting cinnamon rolls. Marrock. It's some lamb in it, and it's oatmeal and other stuff, and it's lovely. And a little bit of salt and pepper, and it's put in a casing, and you slice it. And I remember there's a wonderful gentleman, Winston Beaton, brings me a treat of it sometime. Winston and Jean Beaton from Inverness, and it's lovely. Put it in the pan, and I put water on it, and I put rice, and shut the pan off, and in half hour you have separating, the marrock floats to the top, and the rice is there. You have your protein and your oats and oatmeal and everything. Anyway, the first time I'd ever had marrocks was when Red Eddie and Mary Jess come over one afternoon and brought me some. They brought me some wrapped up in newspaper and told Geraldine or Gertie how to do them, okay? And they take in marrock. And I can sincerely say that one good thing about this is that this Easter and for every Easter, Honorable Red Eddie and his wonderful, lovely wife, Mary Jessie MacDonald, and they were like Romeo and Juliet. Okay, Romeo and Juliet, John Adams and Abigail. They were just, the both of them had tremendous interest. Their 50th anniversary was many years ago, so if Red Eddie hadn't gone to heaven 10, 11 years ago now, they would have been celebrating, goodness, probably about their 63rd or 65th anniversary. And she just always, both of them, Honorable Red Eddie and the lady who we do a tribute tonight, the equally wonderful, fantastic lady Mary Jess, I can sincerely say they represent the very best of Cape Breton Island. From the time that lady was born till the hour of her death. And let's close with Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, thy baby Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And Mary Jess, it's been my privilege and honor to know you, and Red Eddie, and Holland, Fraser, and Harriet would be in your league. Okay, that in public service. I don't know, I can't think of anybody else right now that both couples their whole life devoted to public service. And our students, so I give my sincere condolences again to Honorable Dwayne, their only son, to his many Chrissy and her sisters. And so Alana, actual name, Alana MacDonald, Honorable Red Eddie, and equally Honorable Mary Jess, they're all up in heaven tonight. All three of them. And we say tapalit. That's the Gaelic word, tapalit. Tapalit for all you've done to help other people. And I wish you all the best. God bless. And to the grandkids and the numerous students and people whose lives have been touched in a positive way by Mary Jess. Thank you. Good night.